He cast a forbidden spell, not to forget the world, but himself. Doctor Strange erased every trace of his past, even the crimes he never confessed. But someone remembered what he did before the erasure, and it wasn't him. Superman saw the magic fracture time. Wolverine saw it tear open reality. They both saw what Strange was hiding, and why he erased himself. But the spell wasn't perfect. Something broke through. Something alive. Now Strange is just a man, and the enemy he created knows where he lives. Superman flies. Wolverine tracks. But the countdown to Strange's final truth has begun. The Sanctum Sanctorum trembled. Not from an attack, not from invasion, but from the raw force of the spell Doctor Strange was casting. A spell so ancient, so dangerous, it had no name. The room dimmed. Every relic vibrated. Candles flickered with unnatural colors. The cloak of levitation refused to come near him. Strange stood alone in a circle of salt, runes etched into the floor with his own blood. His voice echoed through dimensions as he chanted the final words. He wasn't just casting a forgetfulness spell. He was erasing something no one should ever remember, including himself. His hands shook as the last word left his mouth. The air imploded inward, collapsing around his mind like a vice grip of silence. The scream didn't come from his mouth. It came from the spell itself. It ripped through reality, tore through dimensions, and vanished. Dr. Stephen Strange fell to his knees. Then nothing. No pain. No memory. No purpose. He blinked. He was inside the sanctum. The runes were gone. The air was calm. A relic buzzed faintly beside him. But he didn't know why he was there. In another part of the universe, Superman's eyes opened. He was flying above Earth's outer orbit when he felt it. Not a sound, not a sight, but a shift. Time itself stuttered. He could feel people forgetting things. A news anchor repeating the same sentence twice. A rescue worker blinking mid-shout, forgetting what fire she was running into. Lois Lane calling him and asking if they'd already had lunch that day. 4 times in 1 minute. He looked down. Earth shimmered, almost glitching, like a memory caught in a loop. Superman knew the feeling. Magic. But not any magic. Strange magic. And when Strange touched time, nothing good followed. Miles away, buried beneath a Canadian mountain, Wolverine opened his eyes like he'd just drowned in blood. His claws burst out without his command. He sat up, breath wild, pupils dilated. It wasn't a dream, it was a flash. A whisper in his head. He did it. He finally did it. He took it all. Wolverine staggered out into the snow, shirtless, shaking, his healing factor struggling to keep up with the pressure building in his skull. The cold didn't touch him. The memory did. A memory that didn't belong. One that was never supposed to survive. Inside the sanctum, Strange stared at a wall, unsure how long he had been standing there. Wong entered the room and paused. "You cast it, didn't you?" Strange turned. "Cast what?" Wong's face fell. Whatever Strange had done, it was already too late. Wong didn't answer. He just walked away, slow, like he was mourning someone still alive. Superman arrived at the sanctum 2 minutes later. He didn't knock. The front door opened before his hand reached it. Some part of the building still remembered him. Strange appeared, calm but confused. "Superman, what brings you to my sanctum?" "You don't know why I'm here?" "I imagine it's important," Strange said, folding his arms. "But I'm afraid I'm not entirely myself today." Superman scanned him, body normal, heartbeat steady, but the neural activity was fogged, like someone had wiped the center of his brain clean. "You erased something, and whatever it was, it's breaking the timeline." Strange tilted his head. "I believe you, but I don't remember how." Before Superman could respond, a claw tore into the front door. Wolverine stomped in, shirt soaked in blood, eyes narrowed, voice low and venomous. "You finally did it, didn't you? You pulled the plug on the truth." Strange instinctively raised a shield, not because he was angry, but because he was afraid. "Logan," Superman stepped between them. "He doesn't even know who I am," Wolverine said, stepping forward. "He doesn't remember what we did, what we let happen. That wasn't just a memory wipe. That was a cover-up." "I don't understand," Strange whispered. "What are you both accusing me of?" "You're not that innocent," Wolverine said, unsheathing his claws fully now. "You're just blank." Superman touched Strange's shoulder. "We need to go inside your mind." Strange shook his head. "That's not safe." "It's not a choice anymore," Superman said. "Something is trying to claw its way back into this universe. You erased it, but the scar remains. And if we don't remember what it was," Wolverine growled, "we won't be able to stop it." Strange hesitated, fear spreading across his face. "If I did what you're saying I did, I must have had a reason." "You did," Superman said. "You told us to never let you remember. But we were supposed to guard the memory together. You wiped us. You wiped yourself. But something went wrong." Strange walked to the mirror of Zorith and placed his hand on its surface. It rippled. The mirror pulsed red. "You can enter my mind," Strange said. "But I warn you, if I lock something away that deeply, it wasn't just to protect the world. It was to protect you," Superman said. "No," Wolverine growled. "It was to protect him." The mirror cracked. A whisper echoed in the room. Strange's eyes went white. A memory, buried so deep it was leaking through the walls, began to surface. An image of Earth on fire. A cosmic being standing in the center of a crater, devouring the minds of everyone within miles. And three figures, Strange, Superman, and Wolverine, standing over a sigil, casting a spell that should never have existed. Then blackness. The mirror shattered. Strange collapsed. And in the distance, something began waking up. Not in the sky, not in the ground, but in forgotten memory itself. Something that was supposed to stay sealed. Something that had waited too long. And now, it remembered them. The sky over Metropolis fractured. No thunder, no lightning, just a stillness that made even Superman pause mid-flight. Below him, the city twitched, buildings shimmered, cars jumped frames like a corrupted video file, and people staggered mid-step, forgetting where they were going. Clark narrowed his eyes. This wasn't a Kryptonian threat. It wasn't physical at all. It was memory unspooling. Back in the sanctum, Strange twitched in unconsciousness. The shattered mirror lay in pieces around him. Wong was already gathering the fragments, trying to read the leftover energy, but it was scrambled beyond reason, like someone had encrypted a scream. Superman didn't wait. He rocketed across the sky, punched through the clouds, and descended in Westchester in under a minute. The X-Mansion stood silent, but not empty. He could feel Logan moving inside, pacing like a beast that smelled blood. Superman landed just as Wolverine kicked open the front doors. "You feel it too, don't you?" Logan snapped. Reality's glitching, like someone's pressing rewind and fast forward at the same time. "It's worse," Superman said. "People are forgetting how to be human." I saw a firefighter just staring at a burning building like she couldn't remember why it mattered. Wolverine cracked his neck. Strange tried to delete his guilt, but guilt leaves a scent. "He didn't do it out of malice," Superman said. "He told me once, if I ever saw the sky blink, if I ever felt the world start to unravel, to find him. But he never said why." "Because he knew," Wolverine muttered. "He knew we'd eventually remember." Superman scanned him. Memories were firing off in Logan's brain like bombs. Bits and pieces, still shredded and scarred, but some had survived the wipe. The healing factor wasn't just physical. Logan's mind was piecing itself back together. "We need to force the rest," Logan said. "Dig into what he buried, or whatever's waking up will use our past as a weapon." "Strange's mind is already collapsing," Superman warned. "The mirror door's broken. We go deeper now, we might not come back." Logan unsheathed his claws. "Good. That means we're close." Back in the sanctum, Strange gasped awake. His pupils weren't round anymore. They flickered like candlelight. Superman and Wolverine stood over him, and for a second, he flinched. Then, he recognized them, not through memory, but through fear. "What did I do?" Strange whispered. "You erased everything," Superman said. "But it's still alive, and it's crawling back." Strange's hands trembled. "I don't even know what it is." Wolverine crouched, locking eyes with him. "Then let us remind you." They placed their hands on Strange's temples. Magic and Kryptonian biology merged through psychic tether. Wolverine's healing factor acted as an anchor. And together, they dove back into Strange's mind, this time through raw force, not ritual. What they found wasn't a mind. It was a tomb. The walls pulsed with dead memories, each locked behind shimmering doors labeled with warnings in dead languages. The floor beneath their feet was unstable. Moments flickered beneath them. A young Strange being trained by the Ancient One, another where he nearly turned to dark magic, and another, a sealed moment with a symbol burned into the sky. That's where Logan stopped. "I remember this," he growled. Superman approached the glyph. It pulsed like a living wound. "It's a memory anchor," he said. "Someone, likely Strange, left it here so the past couldn't escape." Logan placed his hand on it. The ground shook, and suddenly they remembered. A planet not their own. A war that hadn't happened yet, but would. Strange had seen it first, in a vision, so vivid he tore open a rift in time to confirm it. A being of pure mnemonic energy, Corin, was coming. It didn't kill. It consumed memory, rewriting species from the inside out. It turned heroes into strangers, armies into sheep. And the only way to stop it was to erase every memory of it, including the plan to stop it. They had gathered. Strange, Superman, Wolverine. One magical, one alien, one weapon. They fought it in a sealed pocket dimension, a place with no past, no future. They won, barely. But Strange knew the truth. Corin could never be killed, only forgotten. So he erased it, and themselves, sealing the last trace of the being inside his own mind, locking it in a spell that would never be unlocked unless the being broke free. That was the spell. That's what he'd just undone. They returned to the real world, all three gasping, as if surfacing from an ocean of fire. Strange looked at his hands. "I buried it inside me. I used my own brain as the lock." But the world remembered, because the world was its prey. Superman's voice was steel. "Can we seal it again?" "No," Strange said, "because now I remember." And Corin feeds on memory. Logan snarled. "Then it knows we're coming." Suddenly, the sky outside cracked. Not thunder, not storm, but the sound of a collective memory being devoured. New York vanished from the skyline, not destroyed. Forgotten. Every window, every street, every person just blinked out, as if they never existed. Superman shot into the air, eyes wide with horror. People were floating, still alive, still breathing, but blank, staring into the void like sleepwalkers with no names. Strange's voice trembled. "It's begun." Wolverine stepped forward. "Then we end it." "No," Strange said. "You don't understand. If I try to fight it directly, it'll use my mind as a weapon. Every spell I remember, it will twist. Every person I know, it will erase." "Then don't fight it as a sorcerer," Superman said. Strange looked up. "Fight it as a man," Logan added. "No tricks, no mystic crap, just truth." Strange blinked. "But I don't even know who I am without magic." "That's the point," Superman said. "Let it come for your powers. We'll hold the line, and when it overreaches, we hit it where it hurts." Wolverine finished. "Memory's a weapon. We've got ours back. Let's bury it in truth." A low sound rose from the sky. A whisper, but not one made of words. One made of names. Names the world was starting to forget. Superman clenched his fists. "Start writing them down." Strange frowned. "What? Everyone it's erased. Every street, every soul. Write them. Burn them into books, stone, sound. If we can remember them, it can't erase them." Wolverine smirked. "Look at the Boy Scout turning poetic." Superman stared at the sky. "This isn't just a fight for the planet. It's a fight for memory." And somewhere above them, Corin stirred, ready to feast. The world kept forgetting. A man looked at his daughter and forgot her name. A teacher stared at the blackboard and forgot how to write. Cities blinked, not out of existence, but out of relevance. People still moved, breathed, spoke, but the meaning behind their lives vanished, one word at a time. Corin was feeding, and Dr. Strange was next. Inside the Sanctum Sanctorum, the last memory spell was collapsing. Strange stood surrounded by floating symbols, all unstable, flickering, screaming in arcane languages. His hands trembled as he tried to hold the strands together. His magic was still intact, but every time he summoned a thought, something inside his head resisted. Superman and Wolverine watched, both tense. "You're not in control," Superman said. "It's already inside the cracks." Strange nodded slowly. The spell was never meant to be reversed. And now that my mind's open, it's crawling back through. Wolverine unsheathed a single claw. Then we sealed the door. From the inside, Strange looked at him. "If we go in, there's no map. My memories were torn apart, reburied, cursed to rot. Even I don't know what parts are still real." Superman placed his hand on Strange's shoulder. "We don't need a map. We just need to find the cage." Strange closed his eyes. He whispered the phrase, "Verum per Dolores," and the world bent. All three were ripped into Strange's mind. Not the surface, not the gentle thoughts or drifting images. This was the prison deep beneath the subconscious, where every locked away regret, every buried sin, every unspeakable choice was stuffed into corners and boarded shut. They landed in a black corridor with walls made of flickering images, each frame a piece of memory looping endlessly. One showed Strange killing a man with a single gesture. Another showed Christine Palmer's face as he walked away. Another, Strange standing with a dark version of himself, holding a blade made of living language. None of them were real, and yet all of them were. "This place is bleeding," Strange whispered. "It's not just a memory cage. It's infected." Wolverine sniffed the air. "Something's watching." Superman glanced upward. The sky wasn't a ceiling. It was filled with thousands of eyes, blinking out of sync, watching, judging, feeding. A voice echoed. Not loud, just present. "You open the door again." Superman looked at Strange. "What's behind the cage?" Strange turned pale. "I don't remember, but I know it's not alone." They moved fast, deeper into the mind, past memory corridors, crossing bridges made of old thoughts, whispering fears, looping regrets. Every step forward made the walls flicker harder, the structure of the mind struggling to hold form. They finally reached it, the cage. It stood in the middle of a dead void, a cube of crystallized time, hovering, rotating, guarded by 12 flaming glyphs spinning in rhythm. Inside a shape, shifting, not physical, not even magical, just there. Superman's eyes glowed. "That's it. That's Coronus Echo." Wolverine snarled. "Then let's end this." No, Strange stepped forward, hand raised. "We don't destroy it. We understand it." Superman tensed. "Are you out of your mind?" Strange nodded. "That's the point. My mind is the prison. And right now, the prisoner is remembering how to escape." Suddenly, one of the glyphs shattered. A crack formed in the cage. The being inside pulsed, not in rage, but in recognition. It remembered them now, and that was all it needed. The cage exploded. A storm of memories burst out in all directions, fragments, phrases, emotions, all wrapped in cosmic decay. Strange screamed as the wave hit him. Wolverine fell to one knee. Superman stayed standing, barely, his body resisting the pressure, but his mind already slipping. Coronus' voice whispered into their ears. "I do not destroy minds. I simply let them see what they tried to forget." Superman saw his parents, both human and Kryptonian, vanish from his mind. Wolverine saw every face he'd ever loved fade into blackness. Strange saw the world dying in a timeline he'd erased, the one where Corin won. The creature stepped forward, no longer caged. It had no face, no body. It wore their memories like cloaks. One moment it looked like Christine, then like Charles Xavier, then like Lois Lane. It wasn't taking shape, it was using their love as camouflage. Strange stumbled backward. "I don't remember how to fight it." "You don't have to," Superman said, stepping forward. He flew straight at Corin, but halfway there he stopped, midair, frozen. Superman's eyes went blank. His cape hung still. Wolverine leapt toward the entity, claws bared. But the closer he got, the heavier his head became. It was like dragging 10,000 memories behind him, each one growing colder, sadder, weaker. He fell to the ground, growling in frustration. Strange screamed, "Don't engage it directly. It doesn't fight, it burdens." Corin turned to him. A voice echoed in 1,000 versions of himself. "You were the first to forget me, but now I remember you." And suddenly, Strange began to levitate, not by magic, by memory. Images of his sins wrapped around him. The spells he cast selfishly, the lives he cost, the timelines he tampered with, all feeding into the creature, giving it weight, form, purpose. Wolverine, barely able to speak, grunted, "Use the cage." Strange shook. "It's gone. I broke it." "No," Superman said. His voice echoed from above, slow, recovering. The cage wasn't a spell. He hovered beside Strange now. It was a choice. Corin moved to consume them. Strange reached deep, not for power, but for regret. He spoke one phrase, the one thing the creature could never handle. "I was wrong." The entity paused. Strange repeated it. "I was wrong." And with that, he started pulling back the memories, not pushing them away, not burying them again, but accepting them. Each one returned like a puzzle piece. The pain was unbearable, but the cage began rebuilding from within. Superman grabbed Wolverine and held him as Strange pulled the pieces in. The cage's shape began to restore, not with spells, but with truth. And as Strange screamed, the final piece locked. Corin howled, then was silent. The world stopped glitching. The corridor faded, and they woke, back in the sanctum, alive, shaking. Strange collapsed, eyes hollow. "I remember everything now," he said, broken. Wolverine put a hand on his shoulder. "Good." Superman looked out the window. The sky was still whole, for now. The silence in the sanctum was heavier than the screams had been. Dr. Strange sat slumped against the wall, his eyes bloodshot, skin pale, breath shallow. He didn't speak, not because he couldn't, but because he now remembered the one future that broke him, the one where they lost. Superman stood by the window, watching the clouds settle. The sky was stable, but the timeline wasn't. Somewhere beneath the stillness, time was vibrating, like a string pulled too tight. Corin was sealed again, but not defeated, and they all knew it. Wolverine paced in the shadows, arms crossed, jaw clenched. "So talk. What the hell did we stop?" Strange blinked slowly, then whispered, "We didn't stop it. We postponed it." Superman turned. "Explain." Strange looked up, and for the first time since the spell broke, his voice steadied. "There was a future I saw, a split timeline branching from our war with Corin. We won, but the cost? We erased too much. I became something else, something cold. I stopped using memory as a tool and started using it as a weapon." Wolverine frowned. "You weaponized forgetting?" Strange nodded. "I learned how to cut memory out of people like tumors. Nations forgot they had enemies. Families forgot they lost children. Peace returned, but it was hollow. And I became the architect of a world built on lies." Superman folded his arms. "You rewrote history." "No," Strange said. "I deleted it." He stood slowly, pushing off the wall, the strength in his legs shaking. "I thought I was saving them, but I was feeding Corin. Every memory I removed weakened the barrier. I didn't know it then, but I do now." Wolverine leaned against a pillar. "So you wiped yourself, tried to bury the future. That's why you erased us too." Strange closed his eyes. "Because you two were the only ones who saw what I became." Superman stepped forward. "What triggers the collapse?" Strange looked at him. "Me. Remembering. Using memory as magic again. Every spell I cast from this point on pulls that future closer." Wolverine shook his head, then stopped casting. "I can't," Strange said. "If I stop, others die. If I act, we all die slower." Superman turned to the relic shelf. "Then we need a third option." Strange moved toward the center of the sanctum and summoned a glowing orb from the floor. It pulsed like a heart. Inside, it was a fractured vision, one last piece of the timeline he hadn't shown them yet. "I kept this hidden even for myself," he said. a forbidden memory of what happens after Corrin wins. The orb opened. The image struck like lightning. Earth, but quiet. Still. Cities intact. Nature blooming. And yet no people. Wolverine squinted. Where is everyone? Strange's voice cracked. Alive, but empty. Every soul reduced to instinct. They eat, sleep, move, but don't remember why. Superman's eyes narrowed. A planet without identity. Strange nodded. That's what Corrin wants. Not death. Obedience. The orb closed. The memory burned away. Silence returned. Then Strange said the words no one wanted to hear. If it comes back, we don't fight to save the world. Superman answered, voice like steel. We fight to save what makes a human. The final ripple began without sound. No alarms. No screams. Just a single breath vanishing from the timeline. Doctor Strange staggered backward as the glyphs around the sanctum began to dissolve. The memory seal was unraveling again, but this time, Corrin wasn't crawling in. It was already here. Not in the sky. In them. Superman was the first to feel it. A slow bleed at the edge of thought. He forgot the name of the city he'd just saved. The street where he kissed Lois. The sound of her laugh. Wolverine's hands trembled. The scent of Xavier's school, gone. The faces of the students, gone. His own past, fading like mist in sunlight. Corrin had evolved. It no longer needed a cage to escape. It had turned every living mind into an open door. Strange dropped to one knee, eyes wide. It's rewriting us from the inside. Superman reached out, grabbing his shoulder. Then we stopped being hosts. How? Wolverine growled, voice shaking. We already let it in. It's not just feeding, it's living in us now. Strange gritted his teeth. The only way to kill a memory parasite is to give it something it can't consume. Superman's eyes narrowed. What can it feed on? Truth, Strange whispered. But not spoken. Lived. He stood up, hands glowing, blood dripping. And then Strange did something no one expected. He smiled. Let it eat me. Wolverine snapped. What? Strange looked at them both. I'm the source. I built the spell. I opened the door. If I go willingly, if I take back everything I erased, every lie, every timeline I cut, and accept it without magic, without defense, it'll collapse, trying to devour it all at once. Superman stepped forward. You'll die. No, Strange said. I'll be unmade. There's a difference. Wolverine stared. That's suicide. Strange turned to him. It's justice. He walked to the center of the sanctum, hands raised, every vein glowing. Superman clenched his fists. Let us help. You already did, Strange said. You remembered when I couldn't. You reminded me who I am. He placed both palms on the ground and whispered his true name. Not the Sorcerer Supreme, not Doctor Strange, just Stephen. Every spell he'd ever cast returned at once. Every forgotten moment, every erased scream, every memory he buried to protect the world. He accepted them all. He became the cage again, but this time not to contain Corrin, to drown it. Inside him, Wolverine roared as the walls shook. Superman covered his eyes as a light exploded from Strange's chest. The sanctum burst upward into the sky. Then silence. A crater remained, but no body, no relics, no Corrin, just a single floating book, blank, and a single name on the cover, Stephen Strange. Wolverine walked over and picked it up. What is this? Superman placed a hand on the cover. What's left of him? Wolverine tucked the book into his coat. They looked to the sky, and for the first time in days, it didn't flicker. Strange was gone, but the world and its memories were safe. For now. End of story.